So first and foremost, from a community standpoint, so we're very, very proud how 15 years or so ago, we created the Mariner Foundation. In addition to that, we have an annual impact day for our associates across the country to participate. And we've established that as a way to be a steward of positive change in and among our communities. And so the Mariner Foundation is an employee-run charitable giving vehicle where Mariner associates get to choose which organizations the foundation support through a monthly grant making process, and employee donations to that foundation are matched dollar for dollar by Mariner.
The Net Positive Consortium was founded to unite firms that are committed to creating lasting change for clients, for their employees, for the communities they live in, and for the planet as a whole. And the Net Positive does that through 5 core pillars. Again, community, clients, team members, the industry, and the planet. And so in this video series, we are telling the stories of the RAA partners and other strategic members of the Net Positive Consortium and how they're filling their role in one of those pillars.
Hey everybody, welcome to our newest episode featuring different members of the Net Positive Consortium. I'm really excited today to be chatting with Kevin Corbett from Mariner. Kevin, how are you doing?
Good, Johnny. Thanks for having me on today.
I am really excited to chat about all the cool things the Mariner's doing. You know, it's a well-known name in the industry, but maybe real quick before we dive in and talk about the initiatives that you guys are doing. What's so great about Mariner? You know, what makes you guys different? Where's your focus at as a firm right now?
Yeah, so we're a firm that has built a national presence, Johnny, and really is a firm that leads with financial planning and believes in really 3 foundational elements of running our business. First and foremost is we help remove the noise of running the business from advisors and the teams that join us, and we centralize a lot of those back office activities. Secondarily, we look to surround those advisors with additional wealth management capabilities, including tax, trust, investment banking, business valuation resources, you name it, on and on and on, really to help them continue to elevate the client service offering throughout the lifestyle or the life cycle of that client's wealth. And third is we believe that it's our duty and obligation to feed our advisors. And so we have developed enterprise level organic growth strategies to help contribute to both the personal and professional development of our advisors over the course of their careers.
I feel like that third one, right? Feed your advisors. I'm sure that kind of has some overlap with just the same mentality and approach to why you guys are members of Net Positive Consortium in the first place, right? You're investing within the walls of your firm. You're also a member over here because you're investing even outside the walls of the firm. So let's talk about that. I mean, the simple question, right? Like, what drove you to become founding members of Net Positive Consortium?
Well, your comments are absolutely spot on. And there's no question that to the extent that as we think about, and we have a team here at Mariner that is solely responsible for acquiring talent. And we do that through individual advisor recruiting. And I've got a team of 5 advisor recruiters that help support the work that I do. And I focus specifically on acquisition of firms' ownership interests. And so we hear a lot about M&A in our industry, but it's important to note that the entirety of our strategy is really predicated upon that talent acquisition. Make no mistake about it, there is a true talent shortage in our industry. And to the extent that we think about things like feeding our advisors, as you alluded to, creating that professional and personal development opportunity, it's also important that we have our associates feel a part of something bigger. Okay. It's important that they think beyond just the day-to-day and their 9-to-5 job, so to speak, but feel committed to a firm that is leading and in a way that they feel very much personally aligned with in terms of their value and the culture of what we continue to try to permeate within our organization. And so, you know, when we were approached with the opportunity in 2023 to become a founding member of the Net Positive Consortium, it really truly is in line with who we are as a firm. And I'll tell you that, you know, as we have publicly stated, Mariner has a singular purpose, and that purpose is to positively impact the lives of many. And so for us, Johnny, that includes our clients, our associates, and more importantly, the communities that we serve. All right. As I think about, you know, what we want to continue to do beyond just, you know, as you talked about inside our 4 walls and outside of those walls, we want to continue to be a good steward of the industry. All right. And so to the extent that we are making a larger impact today outside of just the wealth management profession where the vast majority of our employees work and spend their time, we want to continue to be good stewards of the industry, and we want to be able to demonstrate and lead by participating in initiatives like the Net Positive Consortium.
You're hitting in all the things you're saying, you're hitting so much on the entire mission of Net Positive and the 5 pillars that we talk about all the time, right? Like doing good in the industry, as you're talking about right now, is one of those core pillars. Doing good for the planet, for your team. But kind of the meat of this chat with us and the purpose of this video series as a whole is to really highlight the initiatives that you guys are working on right now and just talk specifics and so people can learn more, learn from you. So what are some of those initiatives that fit into those pillars of the Net Positive Consortium that kind of have your eye right now that Mariner's doing?
And as you're well aware, being part of the NPC as well, when we started to think through what it would mean to develop this on behalf of the industry, we did develop those 5 core pillars. And those foundational pillars are focused on team members and employees, the impact on the greater planet, community, client focused initiatives, and as well as industry focused initiatives would be the 5th pillar. When I think about what we've done here at Mariner, and certainly an area where I'd like to spend a little bit of time today, there's really 2 of those key pillars where those initiatives have really aligned with our purpose and some of the things that we've built to really help see that through. Most notably in the community and the industry focused initiatives. So I'll talk a little bit about both of those. So first and foremost, from a community standpoint, we're very, very proud how 15 years or so ago, we created the Mariner Foundation. In addition to that, we have an annual impact day for our associates across the country to participate. And we've established that as a way to be a steward of positive change in and among our communities. And so the Mariner Foundation is an employee-run charitable giving vehicle where Mariner associates get to choose which organizations the foundation support through a monthly grant making process, and employee donations to that foundation are matched dollar for dollar by Mariner. So for every dollar you give as an employee, you effectively are having $2 of actual financial impact. We also do things like personal time off for foundation, work and for community give back that does not count against the employee's PTO or otherwise. And so it's just a core part of who we are. And when I think about the impact of the foundation, the Mariner Foundation, I love to share this stats that since inception, we've awarded north of $8.2 million to over 1,100 organizations in 40 states. And in 2024 alone, last year, we gave away north of $1.6 million to 411 unique organizations. Look, I think we're confident, Johnny, in saying that these programs have strengthened our culture. They've helped deepen our purpose. And they're a big part of why I believe Mariner remains a very attractive home for advisors and firms that have joined us and will continue to join us in the future. Okay. And,
That's
and I
amazing.
can say with certainty that these are the things that employees are looking for is purpose and the ability to impact closer to home.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you said 400 some organizations you've donated to
In 2024 alone.
just
Since inception.
just in 2024.
Yeah. Since inception, over 1,100 unique organizations.
Incredible. How many employees and advisors?
So we're just shy of about 2,000 total employees, and our W-2 advisors are right around 950 advisors across the country today.
Man, it's a solid employee to charity ratio right there. I mean, you guys are clearly doing some good stuff.
It is.
That's really cool. Do you have any favorite charities that you guys, anyone that maybe you've chosen to donate to that you want to call out?
So near and dear to me, Johnny, is locally here in our own school district, Keller ISD here in North Texas. I have been a part of, for the last 2 years, the Keller Education Foundation, which is a nonprofit that directly supports our teachers and students across the entirety of our school district. And so I give of my personal time being a part of that board of directors, but I also am able to make an annual grant to that through the Mariner Foundation, which continues to fulfill and satisfy that impact here locally.
Love it, man. Very cool. That is near and dear to me as well. I talk about this from time to time. I taught for a short time before I got into marketing and finance. So always love to see that support for schools. So it's great. You mentioned another initiative though, I think. Let's get into that one. for that other
Yeah.
pillar?
So the second pillar would be the industry focus, right? And so, as I mentioned, there's clearly a talent shortage that we all talk about, hear about, and read about. Probably less often than the M&A activity in our industry, but make no mistake about it, there is a true talent shortage. All right. And so, in an effort to develop our own in-house talent pool and opportunities, Mariner hosts each and every year an annual internship program, hosting right around 70 students from across the country, typically enrolled in some sort of a financial planning program where each and every summer we bring them together for learning, community engagement, team building events hosted at our headquarters in Overland Park, Kansas, and our surrounding communities in hopes of really attracting these students to the profession, post graduation. I think what we have found is that getting engaged with these students early on, teaching them about what a service profession like the wealth management industry can offer to them for true career opportunities is second to none with the engagement we have and the opportunity to share that message, both as they return to their respective universities, talk about the wonderful experience they had with Mariner, talk about the benefits of being a part of a service organization in service to clients, and it attracts
Mhm.
other students year over year. And so, we're doing that. And to the extent that that is something that other smaller firms across the country can learn from or leverage, what a great way to be, again, stewarding that through the NPC on behalf of the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. With attracting new talent to the advice profession, whatever phrase you want to say, I like that one. But with attracting new talent, do you find that it's a big piece of that is just the awareness and the education so that people know, really understand this as a career path, or are there any different kind of roadblocks that you're helping to knock down through this program?
I think the knowledge and the understanding of what this industry does, who it serves, and the growing need for wealth advice and the ability to continue to be of service to these clients over the long term, talent in and human capital is the biggest component of that. And to the extent that we're limited, perhaps today, to those that are operating today in that profession and within the ecosystem, we're just simply going to run out of advisors. I think there was a McKinsey study that came out maybe a year or so ago that said in the next 10 years, there'll be a shortage of 100,000 advisors. At the same time, the demand for advice and true wealth management solutions from the client standpoint will continue to grow over that same decade's time. And so, the internship program, the ability to get in front of next generation talent is really, I think, a core foundation of helping bring people into our industry to really stave off some of that talent, shortage and some of those issues.
From the sounds of it too, just getting new talent into the industry, right, is one piece, but retaining advisors once they've started that career is another piece. I feel like you will have some good thoughts there. And because it sounds like you guys are, as we kind of started the top of the call, you talked about how you invest in your advisors. What are a couple of those top highlights for you as the most important things that advisors need invested in them to keep them around once they've entered the industry?
They need a career path, right? They need to know that there's opportunity for personal and professional development. They need to know that perhaps they have a career of being elbow to elbow, with clients, helping them plan, or they might have other entrepreneurial ideas and spirits where they may want to lead a part of an organization or have the opportunity to lead groups of teams or a region for a firm that's growing in a size and presence, like a firm like ours here at Mariner. And to the extent that, that's part of their career aspirations, we truly believe that those folks that are in this business in a service based type of an organization are also wanting to know that their contribution to the business is aligned with their own personal purpose and the things that they want to achieve as well, right? Quite simply, people want to know that their work matters and that their employers are making a difference in the world. And that is important for a lot of those advisors who have chosen this career profession to continue to have that impact.
Yeah. I think that's increasingly important too. I think, I've seen the studies, younger generations, Gen Z, millennials, that's a huge part of work for people in younger age brackets is like, let's have something that gives us purpose. So being able
For
to
sure.
layer
And
that in
John, I
is so
can tell you
important.
day in and day out, being on the acquisition side here, I talk to firm owners and operators and principals of business where they are pressed for time and the ability to develop their next generation talent. And while they may loosely mentor some of those next generation individuals, quite simply, those employees are at risk. They're looking for other opportunities where they can continue to have an impact. And to the extent that that aligns with the culture of the firm that we look at potentially acquiring, they look to a firm like Mariner to solve many of those challenges. They are essentially creating that opportunity for the next generation that they know are very, very skilled individuals with very high career potential and opportunities. And now they are aligned with and part of a firm that can truly take them through a programmatic approach to developing those advisors. That's a winning combination. And oftentimes, when they have a myriad of options out there in the industry, these are the things, the constituents they serve, the capabilities for clients, the ability for their next generation teams and staff members to flourish and to have that true opportunity. Those are incredibly compelling reasons for them to continue to look at Mariner as a potential partner for their business.
Fully agree. Well, let's broaden things back out for this last question and bring it back to Net Positive Consortium as a whole. So what's your message, for advisors who are watching this video? Hey, here's why you guys should really join up. This should be part of who you are.
But going back to that theme of time and the want or the desire to impact, beyond just the day-to-day work that you do in the wealth management, here's a great way to leverage the resources, the know-how, and the work that firms who have already implemented some of these programs to be able to utilize that as a best practice and a template for developing that in your own firm without having to invest, perhaps significant time and resources to try and attempt to build that on your own. To the extent that that comes with the opportunity to engage with those firms and have candid conversations and open conversations about what worked, what doesn't work, what may work for a firm their size, what a great way just to be in touch with those subject matter experts or those peer networks to really see where your firm can benefit from implementing some of these things that are truly going to have an impact on, again, those three constituents: the employees, the firm, the clients that the firm serve, as well as the communities. And look, at the end of the day, I believe it's our responsibility as business leaders to really help cultivate workplaces where people feel connected, valued, and inspired by the organizations they work for and the differences that that organization is making. Okay. And so, again, if you don't know where to start, NPC is a great way to learn from some of the leading firms in the wealth management industry and leverage what they've already built on your behalf.
Yeah. I just appreciate that interconnected aspect to Net Positive. Like you said, there's the leading firms, there's small firms, like it's truly a group for everybody. There's no egos anywhere. It's let's learn together, let's benefit the industry and beyond.
Agreed 100%. And I say that going in knowing that Mariner's done a few things really well. We don't pretend to know everything from the standpoint of developing some of these pillars. And we look to the other firms that have already done some unique work there as a way to potentially leverage what firms maybe smaller than us have already incorporated in their business, which could be attractive to our business as well.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for just giving us a peek behind the curtain at Mariner and talking about how you're striving to become a net positive firm yourselves. Appreciate your time.